Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. And welcome back to my channel. And this is for the love of chemistry. You're welcome to a channel where chemistry is made easy. And today I am quickly going to introduce you to the first topic for the second term SS1. And this is week 1. And yes, the first topic has to do with the kinetic theory of matter. But just for this, the full video is on YouTube where I took care of the kinetic theory of matter and everything that concerns it. But I just want to quickly show you the states of matter and the changes that matter undergo. Of course, we know that matter exists in 3 states. We have the solid state, the liquid state, and the gaseous state. So, matter can change from solid to liquid, and that process is what we call melting. And matter can change from liquid to solid, and that process is what we call freezing. And matter can change from liquid to gas, and that is a process called evaporation. And gas can change from gas to liquid, and that is a process called condensation. And also, a gas can move directly from the gaseous state to the solid state without undergoing the process of going through the liquid state, and we call it sublimation. A solid can also move from being a solid straight into a gas without becoming a liquid, and we also call it sublimation. So either way, what reactions, we call it sublimation. And this change of state is a function of increase in kinetic energy. When a solid has a higher kinetic energy, its particles begin to vibrate, and that vibration gets to a place in which the force of attraction between the solid particles are no longer as strong, such that the vibration force overcomes the force of attraction, holding the particles of the solid together. The solid now melts. That's what we call melting. For instance, you bring out your soup from the fridge and you keep it outside. There is an increase in temperature, which leads to an increase in kinetic energy, and that increase in kinetic energy leads to an increase in the vibration of the solid particles, and at a point it melts. If it's a pure substance, it melts at a particular point. The crystalline structure of the solid collapses immediately, and that is what we call melting. And that point at which the solid changes to liquid is what we call melting point. Now, a liquid can change back to solid when the temperature is decreased. And a decrease in temperature leads to decrease in the average kinetic energy of the liquid. And when the kinetic energy decreases, what happens is that the movement of the particles is reduced, and the force of attraction holding the structures of these particles together is more stronger, such that it holds them together in a closely packed crystalline structure, thereby changing it from a liquid to a solid. And that point at which the liquid changes to a solid is what we call freezing point. And a melting point of a solid and its freezing point are the same. The melting point of a solid and the freezing point of the same solid are the same, because it is at that point that the liquid changes to solid. It is still at that same point that the solid begins to change to what? A liquid. Now, a liquid moving to the gaseous state, a liquid evaporates. And evaporation involves increase in temperature. When the temperature of the liquid increases, the average kinetic energy of the liquid also increases, and that leads to a collapse in the crystalline structure of the liquid, making it to have more kinetic energy, and they begin to escape into the atmosphere as gases. The same thing happens when, conversely, when the temperature is lowered, the average kinetic energy of the gas decreases, and that increase leads to a loss in the average kinetic energy of the gas. And when the average kinetic energy of the gas decreases, it gets to a point whereby the force of cohesion becomes higher than the force of what? Vibration and movement. Thereby, this gaseous substance condenses and becomes a liquid. And the point at which the liquid becomes gas is what we call the boiling point. Alright, the same thing, like substances like iodine, they do not exist in the liquid state. When the temperature is low and the kinetic energy is low, it is in a solid state. While when the temperature is high and the kinetic energy is high, it goes directly into the gaseous state. And that phenomenon whereby a solid goes directly into the gaseous state or a gas goes directly into the solid state is what we call sublimation. And that is that for changes that occurs in the states of matter. The full video is on YouTube, and every other process that is involved, like boiling and other things and how boiling occurs, you will find the full video on YouTube on the same channel, For the Love of Chemistry. All right, have a beautiful day, and may God bless you. Bye.